You know that feeling when you order a printer that looks sleek on the website, only to find it jams every other page, takes forever to warm up, or eats paper like a glutton? I've been there, and I've heard the same stories from countless small office owners who thought they'd snag a professional-grade machine for a reasonable price, only to end up with a paper-munching nightmare. That's why I wanted to break down the Xerox VersaLink B620DN before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about why the B620DN shows up in a lot of recommendations. Xerox markets it as a compact, fast, and secure workhorse that can handle a busy office without taking up a whole wall. The headline speed with reliability, compact without compromise, ease of use is standard, sustainable choice, smart and secure sound perfect on paper, but the real question is how those promises translate when you actually plug it in, load a tray, and start printing the day's reports. Setup is where many printers trip up, especially in environments where the IT person isn't on standby. The VersaLink B620DN arrives in a fairly small box for a laser printer, which is a good sign if you're dealing with a cramped copy room. Unpacking is straightforward. The unit, a power cord, a starter toner cartridge, and a quick start guide that actually uses clear icons instead of dense text. I was able to get it on the network in under 10 minutes using the built-in Wi-Fi or the Ethernet port, whichever you prefer. The web interface walks you through connecting to your domain, setting up user authentication, and enabling secure printing protocols. For anyone who's had to call a vendor to get the IP address sorted, this is a relief. Now, speed. Xerox rates the B620DN at 45 pages per minute for black and white output, and in practice that number holds up for most office workloads. I ran a batch of 200 double-sided invoices, and the printer kept a steady rhythm, finishing the job in just over 4 minutes. There was no noticeable warm-up lag after the initial start, which is a common pain point on older laser models. If you're the kind of person who needs a quick turnaround for client proposals, that speed feels genuine and not just marketing fluff. Reliability, however, is where the hidden trade-offs surface. The B620DN uses a single, high-capacity toner cartridge that's designed to last for roughly 20,000 pages. That sounds like a win: fewer cartridge changes, lower per-page cost, but it also means that when the cartridge finally does need replacing, you're looking at a fairly hefty expense. The good news is that Xerox's toner is known for consistent density, so you won't get the faint prints that sometimes plague cheaper lasers. The downside is the lack of a low toner alert that actually gives you a heads up. The printer will keep printing until the toner is practically spent, which can lead to a half-finished batch if you're not monitoring it closely. Paper handling is another practical factor. The B620DN comes with a 250-sheet main tray and a 50-sheet multipurpose tray for envelopes, cardstock, or specialty media. For a small office that prints mostly standard letter-size documents, that's plenty. I tested it with a mix of 20 pounds bond, glossy brochure stock, and a stack of 100 envelopes. The machine swallowed the envelopes without jam, and the glossy stock printed cleanly, though the printer does require you to manually adjust the paper type setting for non-standard media. If you regularly print heavy cardstock, you might find the 250-sheet limit a bit restrictive and need to keep the multipurpose tray topped up. When it comes to sustainability, Xerox claims the B620DN is a green choice. The device is ENERGY STAR certified, which means it drops into a low-power standby mode after a few minutes of inactivity. In my tests, the power draw in standby was under 5 watts, noticeably lower than many competing models that sit at double that amount. The printer also supports duplex printing as a default, and the driver makes it easy to set double-sided as the default for all jobs. Those small savings add up over time, especially in an office that prints hundreds of pages daily. Security is a bigger concern for businesses that handle confidential documents. The VersaLink line includes built-in encryption for data in transit and at rest, as well as user authentication via LDAP or Active Directory. I configured it with my office's AD, and each user had to log in before releasing a print job. This pull print workflow not only protects sensitive information but also cuts down on stray pages left on the output tray. The only hiccup I found was that the initial setup of these security features can be a bit technical if you're not comfortable navigating the admin console. It's not impossible, but it does take a few more minutes than the plug-and-play experience you get with a consumer-grade printer. Who should buy the Xerox VersaLink B620DN? If you run a small to medium-sized office, say, 5 to 20 employees who print a steady flow of black and white documents, need reliable duplex, and want a machine that